All right, this is Other Schedules of Reinforcement. It's in Chapter 7, so you'll want to go there and read it, but I'll do a quick explanation now. There's 7 schedules I want you to know, and there will be a blackboard assignment with questions when we're done. Okay, so the first 2 are called duration schedules, and what that means is you actually have to do the behavior for a certain duration before you get your reinforcement or your punishment. The first would be FD, fixed duration, so you have to persist for a certain amount of time doing the behavior the entire time. So this might be if someone says, your parent says, you have to practice the piano for 30 minutes. And you can't just sit there for 30 minutes and then do a little bit at the end. You have to actually do 30 minutes of behavior in order to get your reinforcement. Exercising, a lot of people say, okay, I need to do 20 minutes of cardio. So if I'm on the treadmill and I'm keeping track of my time, if I go off and take a break, well, that doesn't count, right? I have to come back and finish up, so I actually have 20 minutes of exercise before I get my reinforcement, which is probably to quit. Now, there could also be variable duration, where you do the behavior for sort of an unpredictable amount of time before you get reinforced. This is a little bit less common, but let's say, you know, a parent says, oh, I see you've been working pretty hard on your piano for a while, or your homework, or you've been doing a good job cleaning up your room, here's a reward. But so it was a certain amount of time that the kid was doing the behavior, but not a set amount of time that they could predict. So those are duration schedules. Now think to yourself, how are they different from interval schedules? Because they're based on time, but in an interval schedule, time just has to pass, and then you do the behavior like once. In duration, you have to do the behavior the entire duration of whatever the period is. Okay, so that's what makes them different. All right, now we have 3 that are very similar. DRH, DRL, DRP. DR stands for differential reinforcement. Differential means you can tell the difference. So you get it for this, but not for that. So the first one, DRH, is differential reinforcement of high rates. So these are things that you get reinforced if you do something at a high rate. This could be you do something quickly, like you're running a race. So a sprint would be a DRH schedule. You get reinforced by winning if you're doing it the fastest. So things that you have to perform a behavior quickly would be on a DRH schedule. Now there are other things where you're better off doing it at a slow rate. So DRL is differential reinforcement of low rates. We want you to slow down. I always think about myself in the kitchen. I'm always spilling things and making a big mess, and you know, if I just slowed down, I'd probably be more successful. So that might be an example of DRL. Now some things need to go at a particular pace. So DRP is differential reinforcement of paced responding. So you don't want to go too fast or too slow. There's some kind of pace that's good. So of course something like a marathon, you know, they need to run at a certain pace. Or swimming often would be something where the behavior, even if you're racing, it's better to have it at a certain pace so you don't burn out before the end of the race. Those might be examples of paced responding. So those are the first 5. And then there's a couple more. And these are pretty cool. This one is talking about non-contingent schedules. Non-contingent. Remember, contingent is when there's a connection, a contingency between the behavior and the outcome. Well, if this is non-contingent, that means the outcome is not connected to your behavior. So no matter what you do, you're getting reinforcement or punishment. Okay, so let's talk at first about free reinforcement. What are some examples of things that you get just for no reason? You didn't have to do anything to get it. It's just like a free thing for you. Ooh, awesome, you know. So things like you're in the grocery store and they have free samples. Awesome, right? Somebody does something nice for you for no reason. Okay, just rainbows, free reinforcement. Wonderful. Makes you feel good. Okay. Now, we can put these might happen perhaps on a schedule. So we have FT, which is fixed time. You might get some kind of free reinforcer after a set amount of time has passed. And again, you don't have to do anything to get it. So like your book says, you know, Christmas presents or like birthday presents. Probably every year your mom and dad give you a present. You didn't have to be a particularly nice person. You didn't have to do anything to earn it or deserve it. You just get it. That's free, right? So that would be a fixed time example. Variable time would be, again, just things that happen periodically. You don't have to do anything for it to happen. Nice things that just kind of occur in your life, but at an unpredictable time. Okay? Well, we'll talk about these in class a little more about, do you think free reinforcement is a good thing or a bad thing? And I kind of want you to think about that. I mean, free reinforcement is like people just handing you what things, and you didn't have to work for it. That's what it means. Is that terrible? Well, we think of people being spoiled, and that's not so good. But what if the opposite would be, well, what if you had to work for every single thing in your life and everything you had to earn? That could be pretty awful too. We'll also talk about non-contingent punishment. Think about that. If there were punishments delivered to you that had no connection to your behavior, what would that be like? Okay, so for your homework on Blackboard, there's going to be 8 examples, and we have 7 schedules, so one of them is going to be repeated. But here are your schedules: fixed duration, variable duration, differential reinforcement of high rates, low rates, pace responding, and the fixed time and variable time. These are the non-contingent. You didn't have to do anything to get the reinforcer. Okay, so your first example, I'll explain. Let's say you're taking an exam and you need to go quickly enough that you don't run out of time, but you also want to go slow enough that you don't make mistakes. Which schedule would we be talking about for that, for taking an exam? Let's say you're at the pool and the lifeguards are always, telling kids, slow down, don't run around the pool, you have to walk. So they're trying to get the kids to walk slowly around the pool. What one would that be? Number 3, let's say you work somewhere and every Friday they have donuts, free donuts for you every Friday. Number 4, every now and then I see a bluebird in my yard and they're really pretty and they make me be in a good mood. So just seeing a bluebird in my yard, it's fairly unpredictable. Number 5, I give my cats a treat. Just every now and then, just because it's been a while. They don't actually have to do anything to get it. 6, what if your boss likes to motivate you by giving you perks? So if he's seen people that have been working pretty hard for a while, he'll say, hey, here's some tickets to a basketball game or to a movie, or I'd like to take you out to dinner. You've been working really hard on that particular case. What would that be? Number 7, I teach workshops, and in my contract it says I have to teach 5 days, and I'll get paid at the end of the 5th day, provided I've taught all of those 5 days. So, and last one, let's say you're a Girl Scout and they give a grand prize to the scout that sold the most cookies. So what kind of schedule would that be for selling the most cookies? Okay, go ahead and do those on Blackboard, and we're going to try some more examples in class, so be ready for that.